We're seeing crypto adoption grow every single day, with a lot of promise to solve some real-world financial problems. But let's be real, beneath all the hype, there are some pretty significant hurdles that are going to shape its entire future. So if we really want to understand where crypto is headed, we have to get a grip on the challenges it's facing right now. Let's break them down.
And this quote, I think it just nails it. It really captures the two sides of the crypto coin. It's a massive evolution, for sure, but like any brand new technology, it comes with some serious growing pains. And understanding these hurdles is absolutely essential for anyone trying to navigate the crypto space.
So here's our roadmap for this little crypto masterclass. We're going to tackle 4 key areas. First, those wild price swings we call volatility. Second, the really intense environmental debate. Third, the super confusing maze of regulation. And finally, the steep learning curve for new users. Let's kick things off with volatility.
All right, so first up is the big one, the one you've definitely heard about, volatility. It's the totally unpredictable nature of a cryptocurrency's value, and honestly, it's one of the biggest double-edged swords in the entire industry.
It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why do these prices swing around so dramatically? Well, unlike traditional stock markets, crypto markets are still kind of small. That means just one big trade or even a single viral tweet can have a huge impact. You combine that with a total lack of consistent rules and a whole lot of speculation, and boom, you've got a recipe for instability.
And here's the thing you've got to understand. If you zoom way out and look at a long-term chart for something like Bitcoin, you generally see this upward trend. But the moment you zoom in, you see these massive, unpredictable peaks and valleys. That short-term chaos is the real core of the volatility challenge. And you can see how this volatility hits people in completely different ways. I mean, for a long-term investor who can just hold on through the dips, these swings are just noise. But what about someone trying to use crypto to, buy stuff day to day? It's a huge problem. Imagine the price of your coffee jumping 20% by the time you get to the front of the line. It just makes it a really unreliable way to store value for everyday life. Okay, let's switch gears to our second big challenge. This is one that has gone from a fringe topic to a central part of the mainstream debate, the environmental impact of crypto, and more specifically, how much energy it uses. The whole conversation really centers on this process called mining. This is the incredibly intense computer work needed to secure networks like Bitcoin. The method they use, called proof of work, is designed to be super energy hungry, and that massive power draw is what connects crypto directly to CO2 emissions. And look, this is not some fringe internet debate. Crypto's energy use has become a topic at the highest possible levels. We're talking discussions at massive global events like the World Economic Forum and the COP26 climate conference. That tells you just how seriously world leaders are taking this. And that's the bottom line, right? This is why it's such a huge deal. The energy debate ties the future of cryptocurrency directly to one of the biggest challenges humanity has ever faced, the global push to cut carbon emissions and fight the worst effects of climate change. Okay, buckle up for hurdle number 3, the confusing, inconsistent, and downright messy world of government regulation. For investors, for businesses, this uncertainty is a massive roadblock. I want you to just imagine trying to run a global business where the rules for your main technology change completely every single time you cross a national border. That's the reality for crypto right now. This lack of a unified approach makes it incredibly tough for big organizations to really go all in on the technology. So who does this affect? Well, pretty much everyone. You've got individual investors who are worried that new rules could kill adoption. You have businesses that are hesitant to build on blockchain when the legal ground underneath them is so shaky. And any company that operates globally is basically stuck in limbo, waiting for some kind of consistent framework to show up. And that brings us to our fourth and final challenge for today. It's this simple fact that for most people, crypto is still just incredibly complex and technically demanding. The best way to think about it is like the internet back in the early 90s. Super powerful, but definitely not user-friendly yet. I mean, think about it. To use crypto safely today, you kind of have to be a mini expert in both finance and computer security. You've got to understand things like private keys, wallet addresses, and gas fees. That combination of required skills creates a really high barrier to entry, and it ends up excluding a huge part of the population. This right here highlights a huge shift in mindset.
Look, we're all taught from day one to trust institutions like banks and governments to keep our money safe. In the wild world of crypto, that all goes out the window. The responsibility falls completely on you. You are the bank. So, yeah, you basically have a whole new set of responsibilities. You have to become your own security expert. You have to manage these super complex cryptographic keys. And you have to find your way through a technological landscape that's still very much under construction. That is a heavy, heavy burden for the average person.
Whew. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, walking through 4 really significant challenges. Let's pull it all together now and do a quick recap of the major hurdles standing between crypto and mainstream trust.
So, we've covered the extreme price volatility that makes crypto an unstable way to buy and sell things. We've talked about the major energy consumption of some networks. We touched on the messy patchwork of global regulations creating so much uncertainty. And finally, that steep technical learning curve that puts a huge security burden right on the user.
And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? If crypto is going to get past these growing pains and achieve real mainstream trust, it has to solve these problems. Taming volatility, creating sustainable systems, clarifying the rules, and making it way easier to use. That's the key. The path forward is going to be defined by how the community and the world decides to solve these fundamental puzzles.